Hello and welcome to the 101st edition of the Time with Hime Podcast.
I'm John.
I'm Wayde.
I'm Heidi.
And today we're joined with Superintendent Hime and Miss Lynn.
So glad to have y'all.
Thank you for having us.
This is the first group that wanted to be on the podcast. So exciting.
Yes, and they are phenomenal. And I found my replacements for when I'm out, and you've got somebody to take.
That was a great introduction.
It
Awesome.
was.
Great job, guys.
So they introduced themselves, but let's find out where they're from and why they wanted to be on the podcast today.
So we're from Lawton High, and our reason for being onto to the podcast was we wanted to represent all the digital media productions out there across LPS. Get ourselves on the board.
One of the things we find out is we talk about things. We end up at the LRC. We come through here. Great things going on, but there's so many things we miss, just like you guys do a podcast. I didn't even know about it, and now I'm excited. I'm gonna have to go find it and watch it. So now you're gonna have one viewer at least.
And John and Wayde do daily announcements, and Heidi does all of the editing and post-production for them. So
That's great.
yeah, and they. What's interesting is what is the most exciting part about doing media that maybe the community doesn't know about, because it takes a lot of work to do this every single day, right?
My favorite part is being able to be on the camera and give the people something that I feel like they would want to watch, something that's entertaining, but also, depending on the video, informative at the same time.
That's basically our main aspect. We get behind the camera, and we want to become your to-go daily announcements, but at the same time, we want to attract you to watch the video because you remember the first video that you ever saw was informative but funny at the same time. So you just want to come back in and watch it again and to see where the goofiness was, but at the same time, the information.
And it's different, right, Mr. Hime, from the very first time we started?
Oh, yeah. When we started, we were in headphones with big mics, and we were sitting 30 yards apart because we were in the COVID era. So, yeah, we've advanced a lot. Mm-hmm. What have y'all done? What have you learned? What's the most thing you've learned so far now that you've been doing it?
I would say working with cameras.
Yeah.
Because usually that's what I do. I help with live streaming and stuff.
Our first episode, we were recording off of a phone, and now
That's awesome.
we've advanced so far. We got a lot of help from Mr. Mark coming over here.
Very good. And that's something that we want all of our students, when we always talk about create opportunities, and I know you guys said you listen to a podcast, maybe more than one, but we talk a lot about creating opportunities as a district and knocking down roadblocks. One thing that I always ask students when I get on, when I'm 58, what I see as an opportunity may not be what you see as an opportunity. What do you see as opportunities you would like to see created, and what roadblocks would you like to see me or us as a district knock down?
Main opportunity I feel like is not just as your own school, but because it's so fun to see all these other schools getting together and doing something that they find that's creative, that's helping the community and stuff like that.
My bad. Maybe getting all three high schools together and then just shooting one big film.
Oh, that'd be
Oh, that'd be nice.
I like
Yeah.
that. I can see Miss Lynn pointing over to her class saying, "Yep, we got this. We just put it on the calendar." You'll edit it
Yeah, I'll edit.
and be on it?
I'll be on it and edit, yeah.
Oh, awesome. That is a good idea because, those leadership meetings we have two from each school, and it is interesting to see it. So then the last question I always have for my students are the tough one. If you were superintendent for a day or you were the superintendent, what would you do different? Don't say longer lunch either.
Oh, I would love a longer.
I knew that was coming. You could take 3 hours of lunch and 2 hours of class before and 2 hours
Yay.
after. Wouldn't that be awesome? No, seriously.
Let me think.
That's
I
a
know
hard
that
question.
the LRC and all the other schools have different classes, and I like that. I feel like, I don't know, it is a good opportunity. That's something that's already here, but I would just like to add on to it because there's always something that So there's always something you could find, something you could add that people are going to want to do.
You'd be surprised if you've looked at the catalog when you see it, that I think we're going to double the offerings we have in this building next year from what we offer this year. So as students, you need to make sure you're watching that, because the ideal is that you get the opportunity to do something here, but it doesn't pull you all day away from your own school. And then the concurrent offerings, of course, are going a lot up. And we have free college, right? Good deal. Anybody else, what they'd do if they were superintendent for a day? I mean, you got the opportunity to be in charge. If it's snowing, you don't want that opportunity.
I probably wouldn't really change too much, like, as of right now. I'll just probably, for the day, I probably wouldn't do anything, to be honest.
Me too. I think I like how it
You're pretty
is.
happy right
Yeah,
now.
I'm pretty happy.
Y'all make me feel good, see? I mean, you like what's going on. What do y'all want to ask me?
Well, we know you spent your time as a football coach. We just want to know how you made the transition from coach to superintendent of Lawton.
Really, it was an interesting deal. That I always wanted to be a football coach. I coached football, baseball, even coached some basketball, and I worked my way up to football where I became a head football coach. I was a head football coach for 4 or 5 years, and then I took a head football coach, athletic director's job, actually moved to Texas. Well, what happened to me was, some things just happen the way they're meant to be. My son at the time was in the 8th grade. He played football. Well, he came to me and he said, Dad, I'm not going to play football in high school. It's like I got 2 daughters and a son, and it's like, he said, I'm going to run cross country. And he was a really good cross country runner. He ended up being a D1 cross. He's actually a cross country coach now at the college level. Well, about the same time, I was asked to be a principal. And it's like, I'm not going to be a principal. And then I got to think about it, and I went back and told the administration that, as a football coach, cross country meets are on the weekends when you're working, preparing for football games. That didn't go together. So if I wanted to keep coaching football, I wasn't going to be able to watch my son compete as a cross country runner. So I said, okay, I'm going to try it. Well, I really liked administration, and I'd worked in Oklahoma 17 years. And I thought, if I'm going to be an administrator, I'm going to go try to be a superintendent. And I got my first superintendent's job at a school of 400. I was there for 4 years, went to a school of 2,400, 2,300. I was there for 9 years, and I said, I'm going to try a big school. So I moved to this school with 14,000. So I have more employees now than I had students at my first job. But I've really enjoyed it, and I love it. And as I tell you guys, one thing I miss being in the larger school is getting to interact with students. So that's why I love when students come on the podcast, because as you guys could tell before, I really enjoy sitting, talking, and trying to learn what you need, because that's the one thing we get as we get older is, again, my job is to create a school, to create opportunities for you. If I don't know what those opportunities are that our students are looking for, who you want to be and what you want to be, then it's hard for me to create that path, because the path I went through is obviously not the path you want to go through.
Do you have any advice for high school students right now?
Yeah, I think the first advice I told my own kids is try to find something when you're in high school that when you can get out, that you can make a living, but you never go to work. I don't know that I've ever felt I had to go to work. I love my job. I love what I do. I've always loved what I've done. I've always said if I ever feel like in the morning I'm getting up and going to work, I'm going to find something else to do. And so that would be my first piece of advice. Life is short, but when you think about it, you turn 18 to get to be my age, that's 40 years. So you got 40 years to work there. If you go to college for 4 years, that's 36. Even if you get an advanced degree, you're talking 32, and I still got more years to work. So basically, you're going to choose something to do for 50 years. It needs to be something you love, something you have a passion about. You can't make money everything. You can't make, where you live everything. It's got to be something that every day you get up and you want to go do it. So that would be my piece of advice. And that comes with trying to find those different professions now. And that's what we're trying to do, is create opportunities. If you've seen some of our middle school TAP programs, now we got plumbing, farm to table, automotive, and some of those other professions. So students can kind of start doing that at a younger age, just to kind of get an idea if they can develop that passion for some of them.
What's your favorite thing about being the superintendent?
Man, it's not making snow day decisions. I get a lot of help on those sometimes, but that's not it. I think it's getting to see students be successful, and even more so here now is all these great programs we're doing. Every day I hear something new that somebody's doing. I just want to go see and feel the excitement and the love our teachers have. And even at Lawton, you guys have a teacher, Mr. New. He's teaching welding, and before, when I first got here, you never heard about him. You go by there, he is so passionate about that welding. You guys need to go do a podcast on it and make it part of it sometime. He is so passionate about those students in welding. Therefore, that program is so successful. The LRC, you know, the passion over here, you know, when you walk through this building that people have for it, I think that's the part I like the most, is to celebrate with students, teachers, and staff the accomplishments we're able to make.
Did you always know that you wanted to be like a coach or a
You know,
teacher?
I love sports, and probably when I was a kid, I was like some that I thought I was going to make a living playing sports. That went out of my mind at a young age. I was far from it. But, you know, when I went to college, I love numbers, so I thought I'd be an accountant. It didn't take me a couple years of taking those classes to know that. So then I got into coaching, and when I got into coaching, I love coaching. I'm going to tell you, I didn't know I'd have as much passion for this side of it as I do. But that's why, you know, when you look at the numbers, students y'all's age will change jobs 5 or 6 times before you turn 30. And that's my point with find something you love to do, and you love to do it every day.
I think what's interesting is that you guys are here asking questions, but I'll throw one at you. Because you're in the media class and you guys still have another year, what would you say to students watching? I mean, even your peers here that are helping with the podcast, they were shaking their head when you guys were talking about having that joint collaboration between all the schools. That would be something really fun to see at the end of the year. But what would you say to them about media itself and maybe getting involved in the media programs that they're building?
I'd say for high school, I'd say a friendly competitiveness. Like, sure, everybody like on both sides are, you know, everybody's friends, but at the same time, we have a head-on-head still because 2 different high schools, but at the same time, we want to see who wants to make the more content on who's more like daily with it and who just all around does it better.
And you
Gets
guys
the
like
most
each other.
views.
Yes. Yeah, we would. Yeah. But if they wanted to participate or thought about it, or maybe you're like, media is not for me, what would you say to them if they're watching to you?
I would say it's something you should definitely try out and see if you like, because when I first got into the class, I didn't think it was something I'd be as interested in, but now that I'm going to more events and I'm recording and live streaming and I'm in the podcast, I think it's definitely more enjoyable.
Some skills that you'll learn even if you don't stick with broadcasting, right? I mean, you're out there interviewing people, you're talking with the superintendent, and getting some good questions out there, and we could stay with you guys forever. But any last words before we continue on with our podcast?
Thank y'all so much. You can tell I love to interact with students. And so hopefully more students will see this and they'll request to come on, because that's what we want to do. Again, our job is to meet your needs.
Okay.
Anything else?
No, I think that's
We're
it.
good.
Yeah, we're so excited to have you guys, and thank you because you really were.
Yeah, great
came
group.
on.
Man, it was awesome.
Absolutely.
Thank you for having us.
Thank
We really
you.
appreciate the
Thank you for having
opportunity.
Hopefully we get to start getting requests so many that we always have. It'd be great to always have student or different groups show up for part of our podcast. So hopefully this starts where we're not dragging students in here. They're asking to come in.
And I have my replacement for when I'm gone for a conference or something.
You can't be gone.
They did such a great job.
You made me start this podcast. You're not stopping.
Oh, well, I enjoy it, and I really appreciate you guys coming on and taking time from your class. Mr. Hime, as we continue on with this one, we have
lots
things
going
coming up.
on. Spring break next week. That's exciting for a lot of people. The MacArthur Lady Highlanders are in the state tournament. They play Wednesday morning at 9 o'clock. I'm 99% sure that'll be on OSN. If it's not on OSN, it'll be on the NFH High School Network. We'll put a link on there on the webpage or something for that, but very exciting. Congratulations to those young ladies for making the state basketball tournament. That's a great accomplishment.
Well, and you know, I was in the grocery store yesterday, and I even saw our swim state. You know, we have swimmers making state. We had wrestler last week. We have academics going on.
Yes.
So much this.
Somebody won the state academic championship.
Yes, and we'll find out and share it if we haven't already on our social media.
There you go.
But there's a lot of things going on that we're just truly thankful
Again, like
for.
we talked about, we have great staff, great students, a lot of great things going on. And one of the hardest things in a district our size is getting the word out, telling our story. You know, we had 2 academic all-staters at Lawton High. Big shout out to Lawton High for having 2 academic all-staters this year. But we have great things going on in baseball, softball. We're starting
Soccer.
slow pitch this year. We
Slow
hadn't even
pitch,
talked
yes.
about that.
Go ahead.
Soccer, we're starting slow pitch this year. That's about to start. I'm guessing they've already started playing games. It's March. Baseball season has started. They started playing. Again, track and field will be starting any day. We got soccer. Spring's here. When we get back, don't forget, Sunday, we get to spring forward.
Yes.
Hey, you lose an hour of sleep, but you don't have to come to work the next day, so Monday. So you get a whole week to get used to that time change.
When we get some more light at the end of the evening.
Yes, that'll be good, too.
Nice. That's nice for the games. Anything else you want to celebrate after spring break, you guys? We're going to have so much going on. It'll be posted on our social media and our websites. Give them our email address.
LawtonPS.org.
That's our website.
Website, info@lawtonps.org is our email address. Again, email questions, comments, or suggestions for people to put on here. If you want to get on the podcast, send a request and we'll try to work you in.
And again, thanks to our Lawton High students for coming
Yes.
on. We always enjoy having our students. Anything else?
Nope.
All
Until
right.
next time.
That's right. You guys want to help me with the close?
I'm John.
I'm Wayde.
I'm Heidi.
And until next time, you guys, be well, stay safe, and make positive impacts. Have a great week.